Hello everybody, and welcome to episode 13 of Fallout 4 Mods Showcase. And on this lucky 13 episode, I actually want to pose a little bit of a question to you guys, the people that come here and watch these videos every week. The modding scene over on the Nexus has started to slow down a little bit as we all are sort of sitting around and anxiously awaiting the release of the creation kit next month, hopefully. And the question that I wanted to ask to all of you fine people is, what would you think if I spent the month of March digging through some of the older mods on the Nexus and showing them off here? You know, these probably would even be mods that you've probably seen showcased on other shows just like mine. And I usually try to get, be timely and get, the newest stuff every week, whatever's, just come out since the last episode that I made. But there are a lot of mods that have come out in the last few months, since the game has been out, that I've kind of skipped over. Settlement mods. I'm not a huge fan of the settlement mode, so I kind of glossed over some of those. But enough ranting. Let me know down in the comments if that would be something that you guys would be interested in, if I dug through the backlog of Nexus mods and picked out some ones that I skipped over before. It's up to you guys. But anyway, enough of that rambling and BS. Let's get to the show, shall we? The first mod up this week is the M1911 Standalone Handgun by Doom. This mod adds a M1911 45 pistol to your Fallout 4 game, as if you hadn't already guessed that. To start off with, it should be noted that if you have the AWCKR mod, you can download a plugin to have the ability to craft this pistol at that mod's weaponsmith workbench. Otherwise, if you don't have that mod, the pistol can be added to your inventory via the console. The textures on this are not spectacular. They are decent, and they're on par with the textures of most of the other items in Fallout 4. And if you're not a big fan of them, the good news is that there are already a number of mods out that retexture this pistol. So you can always download one of the many retextures if you don't like the one that it comes with. As far as crafting goes, just like we have become used to, most of your vanilla receivers can also be added to this pistol as well, like your calibrated and hardened and powerful and so forth. You can also add glow sights to it if you like, and you can add a suppressor or an extended magazine. Those are the only things that actually change the original look of the pistol. Everything else would just be purely a stat change. There's no change on the actual model itself. The pistol also does come with a custom sound, which in my opinion, honestly, was not really that spectacular. I didn't particularly like it very much. But again, it should be noted that the mod author has also provided a plugin so that you can use one of the vanilla sounds from the vanilla Fallout 4. It uses the Deliverer sound effect, I believe. So if you don't like the sound that it has, you can always download that plugin and change it. It is a fantastic standalone pistol. I myself am a huge fan of the M1911 pistol. And if you are too, I think this is definitely a mod that you want to have in your game. The next mod up today is Fallon's Clean Suits by Evermarch. And what this mod does, as you can see, is it retextures all of the clean suits in the game. Well, not all of them. It retextures the black, the blue, the gray, and the striped clean suits that you will find in the Wasteland. The first thing about this mod is that the textures here are absolutely amazing. The version you're looking at now is the 4K version, although it is also available in 2K textures, a little bit lower resolution. And the detail on these, on the cloth, is so high res and so lifelike. You could almost reach out and touch it. It's amazing how much more realistic they look with these textures. This, it's got to be said that this would be just an absolutely amazing mod for anyone that was maybe doing sort of like a dapper wasteland playboy character, or maybe a gangster type character. Maybe you're doing a role play where you're in Skinny Malone's gang, or you're one of the trigger men, or maybe you have your own criminal empire or something, and this would go right along with that. Or maybe you like working for the Valentine Detective Agency. Maybe you want to do a detective role play. This would be an absolutely amazing mod for something like that. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what kind of character you're playing or what kind of role play you might be doing. If you were a little bit unhappy with the way that the suits looked in the game, you thought they were a little bit low resolution, as, let's be honest, a lot of the outfits are in this game, then this is still the perfect mod for you. It looks absolutely fantastic. The next mod up today is the Butcher's Cleaver by Death Knight 72. And this mod adds, well, the Butcher's Cleaver into the game, which is a two-handed melee weapon. I don't usually play melee characters in the Fallout games, but when I saw this one on the Nexus, I just had to download and check it out. It just looked so freaking cool. I had to check it out. So here it is. And the model on this is absolutely amazing, in my opinion. It sort of fits right in between somewhere of like ridiculous and also really freaking scary looking. Like, I don't know how to describe it. It looks absolutely insane and non-functional, but also you look at it and you're like, whoa, that thing is gonna mess me up. So I really like that very much. The texture on it is not insanely high res, but it is decent, and again, it's on par with most of the other textures in Fallout 4 in the vanilla game. When you install the mod, you can find the Butcher's Cleaver in some brush just right outside Vault 111. And I think this weapon would be perfect for anybody who's maybe doing a raider playthrough, or maybe a tribal playthrough of some kind. Or even better, throw on the Grognak the Barbarian costume and get out there and just be the He-Man of the wastes or some such thing. It's just a fantastic model and a pretty decent texture, and just one of those mods where you look at it and you go, wow, this is absolutely crazy. I need to have this in my game. I absolutely love it. Fantastic work. And finally this week, I took a look at Wasteland Grits Futility, which is an ENB and ReShade preset by Dracofish. The first thing that I noticed when using this preset right away was that it brightens up the image ever so slightly and desaturates all of the colors also ever so slightly. And it favors more of a brownish color scheme, almost has a sepia tone, and it definitely brings out the white balance as well. However, on the other side of that same coin, any darkened or shaded areas in the game, be it from shadows or from weather or darkness, are also a lot more shaded, much more dramatically shaded, actually. I really liked the colors and the overall look of this ReShade quite a bit, actually. If I had any critiques, I would say that I was not super duper pleased with the depth of field, but that's because it uses ReShade's depth of field, which has a tendency to blur out the UI, and I'm not a really big fan of that myself. However, it should be noted that the depth of field can be turned off if that bothers you like it bothers me. You can just turn it off in game and then you don't have to deal with it at all. My recommendation to the mod author is, in the future, maybe he might want to consider shifting the depth of field over to the ENB side, because although no depth of field at this time in Fallout 4 is absolutely perfect in game, I do think that ENB's depth of field is a little bit better looking. It doesn't blur the UI, and the adaptation from near to far is a lot smoother as well. But all that being said, it's still a fantastic ReShade. It looks absolutely great, and it's definitely something I recommend you check out. And that wraps it up for this week's episode of Fallout 4 Mods Showcase. I do want to thank you all for joining me. I do hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give me a like down below. And while you're down there, why don't you go ahead and subscribe to the channel too, if you haven't already. That way you'll never miss out on any future episodes of this series. And I also want to point out that I just recently started a Let's Play of Mass Effect. So if that's something that interests you, you like Let's Play videos and things like that, head on over to my channel and check that out too. It's pretty good. As always, I will remind you that if you do download and enjoy any of the mods featured in this episode, make sure you head back over to the Nexus pages as well and give the mod authors an endorsement there. But with all of that promotional and shameless self-promotional business out of the way, I am out of here, and I will see you all in the next video.